In this episode of the Caustic Rebel podcast,
there's this phenomenon of people where they'll travel like 1,000 miles to go to a Taylor Swift concert.
Yes.
They want to experience
Yes.
something live that's produced by human beings who like burp and fart and make mistakes and as AI kind of gets better and better and better, people will actually crave authenticity.
It's already happening. Yeah. I've sold some of my originals that honestly, they started out well in black and white, and then I added some watercolors and I completely ruined them. I brought it to a convention and somebody bought 2 of them, and they were the 2 that I hated the most. But they loved them so much because it was made by a human. I think
burps and farts, as it were.
Yeah, burps and farts. But I think the major component there is connection. I don't actually have to worry about this. There's always going to be a place for me. I don't have to worry about like my livelihood being taken away by robots or anything. There's always going to be a place for real artists.
Go report. Got it. We got Connor McGregor. Like, I mean, are you excited?
Oh, this is awesome. I've grown a beard special for the occasion.
I don't know. This could be it, Tom. We could be our big break.
He made all kinds of people in the UFC rich. He's going to make us rich.
Oh yeah, that's the goal, obviously. Why is he in Toronto?
Maybe he's got relatives.
Conor McGregor
is he on?
Entered the waiting room. Me. Here we go.
The tip of the tongue and the teeth and the lips. The tip of the tongue and the teeth and the lips.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. He's coming.
All right, there he is. Hey, Connor.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, if I can hear you, great.
How would you describe the work that you do, and how long have you been at it?
Well, I would describe it as I'm a freelance comic artist. How long have I been doing it? I've been drawing since I was very, very young. And I started doing it full time though, right before the pandemic started. And
I'm going to give you a shameless promotion here, Connor. I've got a slide up, ConnorMcGregorArt.com. That's your website. That's how I got at least knowledge of about half of what you do. Can I also, towards a pitch, you do have a video, a fast motion animation of one of your superhero portraits. Do you mind if I show that?
Go for it. And this is one of my returning customers for the superhero portraits. So, yeah, that was my big ticket item back in I believe it was 2021. And that still is something that people come back for, even with the introduction of AI, because AI can do that much quicker and for less cost. But I think there's always going to be a place for that, because the demographic who comes to me for that are the people who want it for special occasions, anniversaries, weddings, birthdays, something that they would put meaning into, which they can't really get from AI. And if they want it custom, well, that's when they need me. AI is kind of, you get what you get, and it'll look really fun, but it's still, you get what you get, and you're kind of taking your chances with it. I've messed with it myself, and it's so much fun. But when you're trying to fix something, you'll get it to produce the exact picture you want, except like the fingers are melting into.
Oh, I want to talk to you about this, because this is awesome. Like I think Tom and I are both amateur, superhero fans. You're Canadian. You do real interesting stuff. Tom and I, we're about to do a podcast with one of our old friends from the nerd camp days, on the topic of AI, more in computer science and the maybe high tech industry, but obviously in the entertainment industry, it's probably coming to the fore even quicker. So you're like more of an expert than our software guy in a way, because you're very active in a field that's being impacted today. There's so much to talk about.
No, but I'm curious on this subject, Connor. Do you see it as a threat or an opportunity?
I love this question. So when it first came out, and it really hit you out of nowhere. I mean, obviously they were working on it behind the scenes, and then bam, it was out there, and it was considered our competition for people like me and all of my artists, colleagues and acquaintances on Instagram, whether I knew them in person or not. I was part of a few groups. They were all posting these anti-AI things. And while I agree with them, because there's a certain amount of um, ethical stuff going on behind it, or unethical, I should say,
Yes.
when it comes to like stealing other people's work and using it in their program. I had decided like I'm not going to devote any of my time and energy and thought towards bashing AI. AI art. I don't even like calling it art. It's more like photo manipulation. When I could be taking that time and energy and just putting it towards creating new stuff of my own.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be negative or anything. And while I do have my issues with AI, I'd rather just focus on me and being creative, rather than hating. I mean, even my I have an artist friend who has this hashtag. She's like, create, don't hate.
Yeah.
So I had actually very fortunately been diving into podcasts and audiobooks, etc., about all things mental health and self-development. And that included, this is really hard for me to describe. I'm not always that articulate, but
Come on, you're Connor McGregor. You're the
I
most
guess it just
articulate
kind
dude.
of prepared
You're
me.
doing great, Connor. Yeah.
It prepared me just in time for the arrival of AI, so that I knew in my head, I don't actually have to worry about this.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a place for me. I don't have to worry about like my livelihood being taken away by robots or anything. There's always going to be a place for real artists. And I never really knew how to put it into words until later, actually this year, when I heard somebody say it somewhere. I wish I could remember who, but this guy said, um, AI needs me to survive in order for it to flourish. I don't need it.
Yeah.
It can take what I want. It can copy my stuff. I can always create something new. I can create something new and not upload it to the internet in any way. And in that way, I still win. I'll always be able to adapt. So will AI, but I will always be able to adapt. And the thing that has kind of backfired with AI, and this is where it has kind of turned into a blessing, is that it's so oversaturated the market, the art market, that when I go to conventions, and I know this because of conversations I've had with people, they actually are actively seeking out, what
A
I like to
real
call
thing.
organic intelligence art, like
Yeah.
real people art.
Well, right now, Connor, I hope you guys can see the slide I have up.
Yeah.
Again, it's a print from ConnorMcGregorArt.com. And I'm looking at this thing. First of all, I'm way behind on my Batman variants. But second of all, that's awesome. Third of all, I haven't seen any evidence that that AI is at this level yet. Like, I mean, there's so much that you're putting into it, right? And
I would say detail wise, realistic wise, it's not even a word. AI can definitely beat this.
Okay.
I mean, this compared to what AI could produce with that image.
But look at that guy. He's
this is-
badass. Like, can AI do that?
Oh, I'm sure it could. Like, I'm not gonna
Like what do
deny
you do? You
AI's
say make the guy
ability to do that.
badass, or like like how,
Wow.
he might have an ass on his face if you say that. Like I like
I know
that.
where you're coming from because I've
Yeah.
tried it myself with these
Yeah.
different but yeah, I tried different things. Like I tried to create a picture of Batman versus Spider-Man, and all it did was mesh the two together, and it was like one
Okay.
person with the two combined suits.
I went and did some of this. This is one of my favorites. Your Spider-Man. And tried to use prompts to sort of mimic it in a way. I said, dramatic lighting at nighttime or whatever. So yeah,
Uh,
a couple of things to note. There's a leg just hanging in outer space,
there's an extra leg, yeah.
and what is it with the four fingers? Is that some sort of? It happens so often. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but with fingers, it struggles the most. I've seen
But
fingers in the
surely to
belt and the
God, you can tell a
pants, and
computer that humanoids have 5 fingers.
I don't know what to tell
Here it
you.
is
I mean,
again.
even the symbol is not symmetrical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
And
gets it so right sometimes and then
yeah,
just so wrong in specific places.
here's some other examples. So it's again 4 fingers. Like, and these are different websites. This is Deep AI. I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like these guys didn't stop me from saying just do Spider-Man. Isn't there some trademark issue that they should be making me go through?
Maybe it's just hard for the legal teams of DC and Marvel and other major publications to keep up with. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, AI is so oversaturated the market.
There's an interesting point here. Like, in like Connor mentioned earlier that there's a lot of demand for his art because it's made by a human. Well, PJ, I mean, you and I follow a blog post by a guy named Ted Gioia, and he talks about this a lot. If you go on Spotify, I've never actually done this, but apparently there's a lot of AI generated music on Spotify.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
at the same time, and apparently there's websites where you can go and say, please make me a song that's like in the style of Led Zeppelin, and it's about
Yeah. I've done some of that.
snorkeling and whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And anyways, and it actually works pretty well. But at the same time, there's this phenomenon of people, like young women, primarily in the example I'll give, where they'll travel like 1,000 miles to go to a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah.
And they want to be a part of something real.
Yes.
They want to experience
Yes.
something live that's produced by human beings who like burp and fart and make mistakes, and they're part of a huge crowd, and it's somewhat contrived, but in the end it comes down to somebody getting up to a microphone and being authentic, and everybody celebrating that together. That's possibly something that'll be at work in the course of Connor's career. Like it's as AI kind of gets better and better and better, people will actually crave authenticity.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it already is. It's already
It's already
there.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I've sold some of my originals that honestly they started out well in black and white, and then I added some watercolors and I completely ruined them. But someone told me, well, somebody is gonna like it, so try selling it anyway. So I did. I brought it to a convention, and somebody bought 2 of them, and they were the 2 that I hated the most. So I sold it at a discount because I didn't feel right selling it at full price with the mistakes I knew were there. But they loved them so much because it was made by a human. I think
burps and
a big
farts,
part
as
of
it were.
yeah, burps and farts. But I think the major component there is connection. Going back to the concert analogy, you go there and you're not really connected to the artist, but you feel like you are, and you have something in your head, some mental connection in your head that you've created. And that's the big difference, because you can listen to her music at home, but it's not the same, is it?
No.
Yeah.
You're there
And in
in
your
person.
case, your personal touch is very personal. Like, I mean, you're not making some of this stuff for 20,000 people in an arena. You're making it for your best friends or whatever, or people like that come to you and they say, here's what I like. And my dog, I want him in there too. And that's very personal. So, I mean, Tom and I are going to be talking with one of our old friends about this, but more on the technical side where there's no heart and soul and stuff. It's just like getting jobs done, programming and stuff. I'm really glad to talk to you in advance of that, because this, I think, is where, I don't know, it's the whatever battle is being waged is happening quicker, you know, and
It's only a threat if you see it as a threat. I mean, a lot
I
of my
think so.
artist buddies do see it that way, and that's why they're responding, I think, out of fear by posting all these anti-AI stuff, which is fine. I actually do respect that opinion, but I choose not to see it as a threat. I remind myself that there's always going to be a place for real artists. Um, because real artists are, well, the fuel that AI requires to live.
I think so. I think we got Connor coming in 3, 2, 1. Sorry again. You're dealing with rank amateurs if you haven't figured that out by now.
No worries, honestly. I mean, I think you guys are piecing all this together pretty well. So,
Well, we'll see. Yeah, PJ's the editing guy. Once he works his magic on this, you won't believe how awesome this is going to be.
I won't believe it either. I'm enjoying this a lot.
yeah, we were at what's my favorite and why, which is pretty fairly Batman.
Yeah, I'm with you there on the Batman. I think, Tom, you're more Spidey guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a Spidey guy. It really has to do with this cartoon that I used to watch. I think Stan Lee was involved in that. Like,
I'm sure he was involved with it. He's played a major role in all of Marvel's characters, or most of them anyway.
I didn't even fully appreciate this, like the two different schools. But oh my God, we could go through some of my AI stuff.
What is that right there with the
this? But anyhow, this was just me playing around. I did have a lot of fun. I'm not pretending in any way that this is great art. And I still think you're bringing it hands down.
Thank you.
And this is, by the way, like, I think AI is coming for me in my little domains as well. And you're closer to the rubber meets the road with AI versus humans, and you have a very admirable opinion that I think totally holds water, because you're the real deal. And AI's not. I had a blast. Playing with those things, but yeah, it's not art.
No, it's I hesitate to even call it AI art in conversation. I don't like that term. I think AI photo manipulation is a little more accurate.
And our man Ted Gioia would be like, it's kind of a parasitic art. Like, AI is just kind of taken from
I see. Yeah.
the real body of music to make these fake Spotify songs, sort of, and Spotify's making money sort of parasitically off of the entire recording history of humankind's musical tradition. And a little bit of that is happening, with art too. Like you said it, the AI needs you. It needs not just you, but every other person that's ever drawn something. And it's kind of shamelessly using that in an unattributed way when you fire these tools up.
Yeah. So, I actually saw someone at a comic convention this year selling 3D printed semi-flat prints of AI generated images of superheroes, and like immediately I could tell this guy's selling AI. At least he wasn't trying to lie about it. He said it was AI. But yeah, I mean, people could get in trouble for that later on. It's somebody creating the AI music on Spotify and making money for it. Didn't he get in trouble?
Well, I so far they're making more money than trouble, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought the guy
think
got sued or something.
well,
there's
no, I think on with regards to music, the like Spotify does it on purpose. Like Spotify itself uses AI to make music, which it then puts in its catalog.
yeah, and it's listenable, and they monetize that
Yeah,
listenable thing that
but
they own. They
they
claim
mon
they
that,
own the
this is
rights
the
to. Yeah.
this is the thing that's tricky, right? Because it's monetized, right?
Yes.
It's not innocent anymore. It's monetized, and it's actually um unattributed.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
though
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's no way they could have generated that music without the entire body of music,
Yeah. No, that's Gioia, one of
Mhm.
Gioia's things.
Yeah.
There's one user, supposedly a real human that lives in Sweden, that posts on Spotify under like 200 different sort of aliases of this music that supposedly he owns. There's like 20 billion hits of streaming, and like I don't know how many untold millions that came to through this one supposedly real person that's clearly leveraging AI's encyclopedic knowledge of how to make music that it just uses unattributed. So it's sort of like you're taking, one little bit from every musical artist that's ever existed without permission, building a large language model, and then sort of monetizing the output. And yeah, that's where it gets very sticky. I actually played around with some of this AI music generation, and I felt like there was a creative component to that, but I still wouldn't try to monetize it. I think I won't take any more of your time. This is awesome. I cannot vouch for the quality of what got recorded, but I thank you for the quality of what you put into it, and for volunteering to come onto our podcast. You're our first live guest on what I
Well,
hope will be our podcast.
I thank you guys for having me. This has actually been really fun. I mean, it's the first podcast I've done.
And
Yeah, you didn't get the Conor McGregor, but
yeah, we
you
did. At the end of the day, it's comic graphic artist Conor McGregor, two N's, one A, from Toronto, and that'll be the final billing.
Thank you, Connor.
Yeah, thanks so
I
much.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you again for having me.
Okay.
This has actually been very, very fun for me.
Talk to you later.
Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Tune in again, dear listener, as the caustic rebels address mysteries from black holes to Bob Dylan.
Well, a wrecking ball is swinging, ringside bells are ringing. The